Again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week, but not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that Mile High Broncos country.
Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome, everybody. My name is KevDan, and this is the Orange Weekly post-game podcast. My name is, again, KevDan, because I already said that. And we got Rob and John here as well. Gents, how are we doing tonight?
We're good, man. We're good. Just, Victory Monday, even though it doesn't really feel like a Victory Monday, but we're going to get into that.
Victory Monday?
Well, on the bright side, there's some very high-quality NFL being played right now as we're filming this, so that's exciting. We'll probably talk a lot about some very low-quality NFL during this, but the good news is there's 15 more weeks to go.
Exactly. So, look, Broncos do win. Obviously, we know by now 16-9 against the Houston Texans. A game riddled with still a lot of mistakes, a lot of dropped passes, a lot of penalties, mental errors, and we can, delve into all of them at length.
I bet
obviously that would take a lot of time though. So I don't know. Let's, what we normally do with this podcast, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We'd like to start off by going back to just before the game started and kind of what our thought process was, where we were at, what the other fans were thinking, and kind of start from there and go forward. So John, start with you, man. Kind of what were you thinking before the start of the game there?
Well, yeah, pre-game, I think everyone, myself included, obviously was very excited to see what was going to happen. First home game, Russell's first game in Mile High. They have to turn it around from last week. Last week was not pretty in Seattle, so they're going to turn it around, right? So pre-game, all the excitement was there. Not a lot of anticipation, very hopeful, realizing that there, a lot of doubt also probably in there, but just feeling like we're going to turn it around because what we saw week one was not pretty. It felt like a game that we were going to win eventually and just never did. And then the kickoff happened.
Yep. So before we move past that, Rob, same thing to you, man.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I was hopeful that we were going to, slap Houston around Mile High up and down the field, which, we were able to move the ball up the field, but we were also moving the ball back the other direction. But yeah, it was, I've said this before, a win is a win is a win, whether it's by 1 point or 35, but God, that was awful. That was just, that's why, as Jared would say, Victory Monday, we just don't know. So, it's rough today. We should be happy and elated, but there's still a lot of question marks and still a lot of things that need to be figured the hell out.
Rob, I feel like we moved past the pregame there a little bit in your response.
How dare you?
But I
Yeah,
understand. I understand where you're coming from
yeah,
and why you were
exactly.
feeling away and why you're ready to dive into this thing.
Yeah. Hey, so for those who are listening on the podcast platform, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you're listening to your podcast, we may be referencing comments throughout this show. We do this live on our YouTube channel as well. So we'll try to actually read out the comments because you guys can all hear what we're talking about versus us just kind of jumping into a random category. So do want to shout out Tracy's here. Kat is here, as is D-Rock. So thanks for tuning in. And this is your chance, if you are watching us when we're live, to post some comments and questions, and we'll try to get those answers as best we can. And we'll tell you about our other shows where you can interact with us a whole lot better as well. But we got D-Rock. D-Rock says, embarrassing doesn't begin to decide what happens or what happened. Look, it struck me, and I'm going to kind of fast forward to the game part now.
Yeah, I can already tell by where you're going with this.
Yeah, exactly.
You and Rob are on the same page. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to stick with the script here, Kevin.
No, well, there is no script.
Get with the program, John.
Yeah,
wait, you didn't
there's
put the
literally no
script?
script. I didn't know this is where we were starting until Kevin just said about 2 minutes ago. This is where we're starting.
Do you ever know where I'm starting? Yeah,
I
exactly. You just go with the flow. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to get your guys' take on this. The booming that we heard, it just made me think back to, man, we didn't hear this in years 1 or 2 with Vance Joseph. Even year 3, I don't think the booming got that loud. Vic Fangio, same thing. Year 1, really not any booing. Year 2, more so. But man, this is Hackett's second game, first home game. And not only are we booing, but the fans decide to take it upon themselves to help the team out by counting down the play clock once it hits 10. I mean, it was crazy. The South stands, I don't know who started, but somewhere in the South stands, and the whole thing just erupted from the South. I mean, just this 5-4, you know what I mean? So it was embarrassing that we had to do that, but at the same time, smart fans, right? That's what Hackett said. He's like, well, these are smart fans. They know what's going on. They're trying to help us out. So, But I don't know. It just kind of seemed like, are we jumping the gun here? Like, obviously, I think we are. But it's game 2, and we're booing to that level of dissatisfaction. Like, what's going on?
I think it's a couple things there, Kevin. One, those other guys probably are going to get a little bit more leeway just because it's been so long that we've been relevant in the NFL since that playoff, or from the Super Bowl win, actually. And so we're feeling the pressure in Denver to be good again. And so it doesn't matter who the coach is going to be. If you're going to start out the way that we started out, there's a lot of expectation. We're talking about people are, putting us in the Super Bowl conversation, at least in the playoffs. So the way that we're starting out, a lot of expectation for this team coming to this season. So I'm not surprised by it at all. I mean, Denver has never been shy about letting their thoughts been heard by the masses, as it were, for the Broncos. And we've dealt with, 5-6 years of mediocrity. So we're kind of over it. So I understand where they're coming from. I understand their pressure. But honestly, okay, we're going to probably hit a lot on Hackett today. Probably mostly negative, but he's not shying away from that either. He's like, hey, look, I understand where they're coming from. Like, if I were them, I'd be doing the same thing. And he said that in multiple press conferences now. It's not good when I say multiple and there's only been 2 weeks. But I get it. And I think he gets it. And hopefully that just gets them to get on the same page quicker, sooner rather than later, because the boos aren't going to stop if it doesn't get figured out here shortly.
Yeah. Bro, what do you think, man?
Well, as John, touched on prior, a lot of it does fall on Hackett, and he is accepting responsibility. But at the same time, I believe Jason said this in our group chat, your brother there, Kev, this isn't Nathaniel Hackett's first time calling plays. Like, he should know that the game clock is getting down. Like, The mistakes that are being made are absolutely, like D-Rock said, embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And it just makes our entire staff look incompetent as hell. Granted, they are young. I understand it. But for the love of God, man, there's a play clock. Make a damn decision and get on with it. And well, I mean, I guess we'll get to it. But putting the punt team out on the damn field without the returner, like partly, I feel like that falls on the special teams coach, which knock on wood has been okay so far. It hasn't given me PTSD of, the name that I'm not going to say, but it's just, these mistakes are just complete asinine.
Yeah. But and to that point too, like I have never seen a game where the home team's fan is counting down play. It's
never been heard of.
Embarrassing.
It has never been heard of.
Ridiculous. Like, how does that even happen? So don't get me wrong. I give him credit for not shying away from the blame, because I put a lot of blame, and I mean, everyone in this Orange Weekly group can tell you, I put a lot of blame on Hackett, but at the same time, I feels like it's growing pains, a lot of growing pains. Man, the sooner we can get rid of that, and it's like ridiculous. It's like JV stuff. It's things I've never seen in an NFL game. And so, which gives me a little bit of hope that we're going to correct it sooner. Hopefully this week, ideally, but who knows?
We do have a lot of comments here about Russ, and we will get to Russ. There's a lot to talk about him, but kind of talking to Hackett's thing right now, because again, there is just a lot to cover with him and where he's at. I think he could have taken. Look, we all know that there's coach speak, right? Coaches are going to say what coaches say, and usually it's vague, and pretty much any coach out there is going to take the blame for situations, right? But I think there was a couple situations that stood out where it could have been very easy for him to not take the blame, and still have that coach speak. And the one instance was during the the delay of game on the kick, the field goal kick. He could have very easily said, there was miscommunication between the other coaches, or we wanted to move the ball back a little bit more to help get a better kick position. He could have made up something, but no, he was straight up like, hey, that was me. I didn't make a decision fast enough. It's just little things like that made me say he's not just saying the words. Like, I really feel like there's some genuine leadership going on there. And so I think we're going to be okay. He could have also said, here's another great one, and it would have made me feel better. Hey, we're taking so long on these play calls because it's a new language. We're trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. We are going a little slower to avoid mistakes. Everyone bear with us, and we'll get better. No, he didn't say any of that. Like,
that would have been such a worse response,
right?
You can't say we're going to take more time when you only have 35 seconds to snap the ball, dude.
No, you could, but like, hey, why is it taking so long? Okay, well, we're just, it's a new language. We're still working on it.
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm trying to get a point across.
No.
But I don't know. Overall, like, look, what I'm getting at is Hackett is still it's game 2.
It's true.
Yeah, he's been calling plays before, but it's still a completely different role when you're the head coach. All of a sudden, you have so much more on your plate to worry about. So, look, I'm going to give him the same amount of time I gave Vance Joseph and Vic Fangio, and that's 3 years. I'm not going to judge him too harshly. I can be upset and frustrated and infuriated, but I'm not going to even come close to thinking about any sort of new coaching, whatever, like some people are already talking about, until year 3, at the earliest.
It's way too early. No matter how embarrassing it looks out there, and don't get me wrong, it looked embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It didn't just look embarrassing. It was embarrassing at times. And he deserves a lot of that criticism. And that's part of the job.
He's taking it, though. He's taking
it on the chin. And I think it feels like we can only, it doesn't seem like it's something that they're not actively working to correct, right? Like it feels like it's just like a first half of this season issues that are going to get figured out. And there'll be a lot of question marks. Like, what if we had started this process? I don't know, week 1 of preseason, and got through a lot of this, those growing pains then. So, if you think about it that way, then hey, we just completed week 2 of preseason and we're 1-1. So, at the end of the day, the record is all that matters. But it's ugly football to watch, and he's gonna get booed every time if it continues looking like this.
Yep.
On the bright side, the fourth quarter, hey, we scored 10 points in the fourth quarter, and came from behind and technically came from behind, although it seemed like both teams were 0-0 for most of the game until the fourth quarter.
Right.
So it's a win, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Win is win, and I think we've heard that in every press conference at least 5 times since the end of the day.
At least.
Yeah, no, it should be fixable. It should be correctable. I agree, Kev, we got to give him some time, but like you said and alluded to earlier, Broncos fans have a certain level of expectation, and if they're not meeting that expectation, they're going to let them know. Now, do I agree with booing our own team on our home field?
I don't, but we can understand where it's coming from, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that was kind of like that should have been an eye opener. Like, but with the next game coming up, against the 49ers, which are a really good team, we're gonna have to play pretty much perfectly to beat them. Now, granted, I believe Trey Lance broke his ankle. I think
Garoppolo is.
So we got Jimmy G, and he's not a terrible quarterback, but we're going to have to play damn well.
He took him to the NFC conference game last year, so
yeah, I mean,
that's not a downgrade for them at all.
No, I don't think so either. But with all the mistakes and everything, like we got to get this cleaned up and right quick and in a hurry.
Yeah, but it's not lost on the coaching staff or the players either. Like, I think there's a lot of camaraderie there, and like after the game, you could feel the tension, you could see the frustration between Russ and Hackett on the field after drives. At least that's the vibe I was getting. But then they recognized that they came away with a win. You saw Sutton, you saw Russell in the locker room giving Hackett the game ball. So I think they will rally. I'm hoping they will rally around this. And look, we still won the game. Like, we're talking like we lost the game, which is sad.
It's a very weird situation. Like, I'll be honest, even driving away from the game last night, I wasn't excited. Like, people were still cheering, in the hallways, leaving the stadium, and people were but I just got in my car and I was like, yeah, we won. Okay.
Yeah. No, it felt like a lot afterwards.
Yeah. I was like, why am I not like super amped right now? I was just like, oh, that happened.
Because we won 16-9 and probably one of the most boring games you've ever watched.
Oh my God, it was so.
Could you imagine though being a Texans fan right now, and you just lost to this team?
Yep.
One thing I actually found on Twitter, and luckily was able to screenshot it today. In Peyton Manning's first 2 games in Denver, he was 43 for 63 for 494 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1-1 record, and 5 rushes for 2 yards. Russell Wilson's first couple games, 43 for 71 for 559 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1-1 record, 3 rushes for 5 yards. It's pretty comparable. I'm not going to put Russ on the same plane as Peyton Manning just because of the age difference and the experience difference. But it gives me a little bit of hope, like, okay, it's just, the first little bit. We're going to get through this. I've told you guys before, when Denver said they were going to sign Peyton Manning after his neck surgery, I honestly wasn't too thrilled about it. I was like, who knows what he's going to be able to do? Yeah. But he made a believer out of me, and now, shit, I'd run through a wall for that guy. Yep. So let's hope, Russ does the same.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying there, Rob. I think those are valid statistics. The problem is that both games are like polar opposites from our offense. Like, we looked statistically very good in that first game, and most of the yards that you just described came from that first game. This second game, I don't know what was going on with our offense. First game, got down to literally the inch yard line, and we couldn't get a touchdown. Like, we should have covered the spread. We should have beat them by at least 10 points in that first game. This game, probably should have done the same, but we couldn't. Like, our offense just couldn't get going until the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter, the stats start taking care of themselves. But we need to play better than those first 3 quarters of football.
Yeah. And that's a good segue to get back to some of our comments. And again, for those of you who are watching live, definitely appreciate you tuning in. We do our podcast, the Postgame podcast anyway, Monday nights around 7 p.m. So you can usually count on us being here for that. And I will tell you all about our other content in a little bit. But moving towards the offense, this is a good chance for us to really start looking at Russ and the offense in general. So, Russ, D-Rock here says Russ is clearly rattled by something. Now, I don't know what you guys think. What I'm getting, impression of is there's still just not a lot of trust. You can call it trust, or the quarterback, receivers, not just quite on the same page yet. And it takes time to build that up, right? A lot of reps. And you got to remember, this is a very tough offense to instill. So look, you're dead on, John. There was a split between game 1 and game 2 and how our offense worked, right? But I don't think Russ is rattled by anything. I think it's just more, it's going to take time before Russ can, get on the same mindset as the receivers. And when they start scrambling around or whatever, he knows where these guys are going to go to be able to make some of these more flashy plays that you saw him do out in Seattle. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I don't know if it's rattled, that's the right word, but he didn't look comfortable. Like, you just look at his feet.
That's a good, yeah. He didn't look comfortable. Yeah.
He did not look comfortable. Okay. And if you just look at his feet, nothing was set when he threw the ball. And any highlight that you look at, or maybe not any, but he was 14 for 31. Like, that's a bad statistical day. And it was bad to watch. Like, it's not just that.
How many of those were drops? I mean, they got into the receiver's hands and they dropped. I mean,
there was a handful of those, but he started.
It doesn't make it a lot better. Like, it's not like
11 to start, and there was just a comfort level that just was not there. And I think it's still like adapting to I know. Preseason, I was a believer. I was like, look, we got this new quarterback. It's potentially a Hall of Fame quarterback here. We're gonna go the distance. We have a offensive minded head coach. Finally, right? We've been stuck with really solid defensive head coaches for a while, and maybe we jumped the gun a little bit. And I'm 100% guilty there. Like, turns out when you're instilling a new offense, defense as well, but a lot of that defense is very carried over, and our defense coordinator has worked with just a vast array. We'll get to the defense here in a second, but they're still figuring out this playbook, it feels like, and injuries and blah 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 blah. But and you make all the excuses you want, but it's just not. They're not on the same page when it comes to the offense, and I think it's one of those things that gives me hope, because I think it will get figured out, but it's gonna take time. And unfortunately, we just got to get through that. We as fans got to get through growing pains. The team, it's going to be a lot more painful for them, because they have to hear this is their livelihood we're talking about here. We just get to talk about it for fun on a Monday night.
Right.
Yeah, John, I agree with everything that you said there. It definitely is, like I said before, hopefully something that can be corrected. But God, after being for 5-6 years, as you said earlier, mediocre, and then we bring in Russ and we're thinking, we hit the jackpot, and then he's playing like this. It's disheartening. It really is. But I keep, having to be hopeful and keep the faith that, they're going to get it turned around, and, and hopefully, we'll start turning out games like we're supposed to. But yeah, Russ definitely, I mean, if you just compare, from when he played in Seattle to now, he's just, there's something that isn't isn't right as far as Kevin said, comfortability. But hopefully, we'll get it figured out and he can settle down a little bit. I'm hoping that with the tougher team that we're going to have to play this next week, that he will rise to the occasion. But everybody's got to rise to the occasion. It's not solely on him.
So, before we move on, the big thing with Russ is comfortability, and it's going to take time for him to feel comfortable in the pocket. I'll tell you what, though, there is something that if you're looking for comfort, you have got to check out Raycon's everyday earbuds. I tell you what, if Russell Wilson put those things in, he'd probably feel comfortable, right back in it, no problem whatsoever. Honestly, though, guys, you've got to check out these earbuds. Obviously I listen to a lot of Broncos podcasts. I don't know if you guys picked up on that at any point, but I do. And through that, including our own other podcasts, like the pregame podcast, I like to listen to that. And these earbuds are fantastic for it. I'll tell you what, they look, feel, and sound better than ever. And they have optimized gel tips for perfect in-ear fit. These earbuds are so comfortable. They will not budge. Trust me, no matter what I'm doing, mowing the lawn, pumping iron, because I got to get I work out just all the time. I figured John would react to that, but no. Either way, it is true. No matter what I'm doing, these earbuds will not budge. Raycons give you 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. They're priced just right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's really no wonder why Raycon's earbuds have over 50,000 five-star reviews. A couple of these features here that are going to be great for everyone. Noise isolation. If you're working, you can hear something in the background, you would cut down the background noise. My voice is wrong. Let's go back to you and John talking, and I'll finish.
All right. So while Kevin gets his internet sorted out as per the usual, we're going to go ahead and just kind of talk about a couple of these comments right here. It looks like Albert No isn't playing as tight end number 1 anymore. And that's just because he's been dropping the ball. Beck, God, I don't even know what they were doing with Beck. They tried a fullback option with Beck, and it just did not work.
Yeah, that Beck play was one of the worst 3rd and 1 plays I think I've ever seen. And apparently it was a blown up play from the get-go, as if things coming in weren't being – everyone was not on the same page when that ball was snapped. So why Andrew Beck is a focal point of our offense. Literally, the first 2 plays of our season from offense were to him. The first one, I was shocked. I thought they were going to go deep to Sutton or Judy. Nope, we go to Andrew Beck, who I thought was going to be buried in the depth chart. Second play, back to him, 25 yards. This is going back week, obviously, to Seattle. So, okay, all right, maybe we're onto something here. And then, 3rd and 1, give it. I mean, Javonte Williams getting 5 yards of carry and getting handed off to our fullback with a weird pitch read option thing. It's just odd, very odd. I think this kind of goes back to Hackett, and that's probably the last thing I try to talk about in this regard. But overthinking things was brought up today in our group chat, and I think that's just a very easy example of that. Overthinking, trying to get cute when we don't need to. Our rushing game is awesome right now. We haven't even talked about it, and we should be. We could be the Tennessee Titans right now, handing it off to, instead of Derrick Henry, handing it off to Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams every single play. And I'm going to tell you right now, we'd be probably getting more points than we've gotten in these last 2 games. So why we're doing these weird, cute plays, I don't get it. Alberto, he had 2. He was targeted twice. One of those for sure was a drop. I can't remember the second one. We're using our tight ends. We're mixing them up. I don't know. I don't know if they're just waiting for the rookie to come out there, and now we're just going to have a single tight end. I don't think that's the case, but
yeah,
I can't really blame Alberto for only being targeted twice.
right. No, agreed. How's my mic sounding, guys?
Perfect now, Kev.
Awesome.
Kevin,
Cool. So as I was saying,
I could see your disappointment in your glitches with the random head shaking, and that just
I was like, this is happening, isn't it? I was waiting for one of you to be like, oh, this is bad. Anyway, so as I was saying about these awesome Raycon everyday earbuds, again, they have over 50,000 5-star reviews. One of the cool things is they have multiple features, and each one has a great function to it. So 3 customizable sound profiles. Whether you can switch it between, maybe you're listening to music, you're listening to an audiobook or a podcast or whatever the case is, you can change that up to get the best audio quality for what you're listening to. You also got noise isolation. So great for maybe you're at work trying to just, focus on whatever while you listen to a podcast in the background. You don't want the people talking or coming by, whatever, bothering you. So having these earphones in helps cut down on that noise. Or if you just want to focus on whatever you're reading, maybe you're studying, another great reason to have that feature on those. So, several other features, but those are 2 of the favorites that I have. But basically, here's what you guys need to go do in order to get in on these awesome headphones. Go to buyraycon.com today and use code TPPN15 to get 15% off your Raycon order. Again, that's TPPN15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com, code TPPN15. Also, guys, look,
we're even getting some international endorsements here from Richie Rich there in the comments, vouching for everything you just said, even though it took 2 attempts. So maybe you're on something.
You took 2 attempts. Okay.
It was like there had to be carryover there.
Look at that international endorsement. Richie, I love you. If a foreigner says it, Mr.
It's true.
Must be true.
Then it's true. Must be true. Lastly, guys, look, obviously the bills are piling up here, so we have to do 2 ad reads. But no, seriously, though, obviously there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the NFL. Action-packed, crazy games, fun games to watch. Most of them, some of them, like the Broncos, not so much. But still, you never know what's going to happen in these games, right? We'll get ready for week 2 and week 3 of touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins at Draftkings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of this of the NFL. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly. Do you want more action? Everybody can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion, and it is simple. This Sunday, bet on any NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Here's what you need to do to get in on this. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Okay. What do you guys think?
You're getting love here from Richie. Richie's on point.
I do it. Part of it is, part of it's not, part of it's true. It is a crazy NFL that we have going on here. Anyway, yeah, Kat. He starves it to watch the squirm. Yes, this is
worth it. Just the comments.
Kevin needs to feed the hamster, which is running his generator, which is running his router.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is half the time it works just fine. And now it's back to working like normal. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Just sometimes it craps out on me.
I think you have an ulterior motive here, Kevin. Right. That was a tough one to get out.
I didn't warm up.
I think you're just trying to, like, every time you read the ads, it seems to crap out. I feel like you're just waiting for someone to offer to take those ad reading moments away from you. And I will not do that. I will not be that person. So, Rob, if you want to jump on that, that's all you.
Hey, I'll give one a shot, but I might. I'll probably screw it up at least once. But
Kat figured it out. She says he finally fed the hamster. Really, I don't get paid in money. There's somebody over here, and he's waiting by the hamster. And as soon as I start the ad read, he finally feeds it. So,
Kev, to quote a movie reference, 60% of the time it works every time.
100% of the time. Yes. Yes.
Hey, what about this? What if we actually talk about the Broncos again? And two, what if we were positive for once?
Okay, we're going to be positive. Let's do it.
We won.
Yeah, we won.
I'm starting with the offense. Positive. Running game. Holy cow. Are we going to average 6 yards a game and not utilize these people? Javonte Williams, 5 yards a carry. Melvin Gordon, 4.7. I realize I just said 6 yards. I'm going to take both games into account there. But, man, we're getting half the yards we need for each first and 10. So why are we not feeding these guys more? Breaking down passing versus rushing, it was 31. It was actually split, surprisingly. But that's, the passing game was just not working in this one. So it kind of had to be for us to even be remotely in this game. I feel like they are still very much favoring the pass over the run. I feel like I really went from positive back to negative real quick. But Javonte Williams is looking like a beast. And we got to feed the guy, man. And honestly, Melvin Gordon, too. I know, Rob, before we get into Melvin Gordon and all the things you have to say about Melvin Gordon, the guy can still run the ball. I don't care what you say. He's still getting he's one of the highest yards per attempt in the NFL. Both of them are. And let's give him the freaking ball.
John, I agree with you. Melvin Gordon can run the ball. It's just a matter of him holding on to the damn thing. But
Zero fumbles.
But I digress. I was just going to say there was no fumbles this game. Thank God. However, we still are not figuring out that we need to run a power formation when we're on the freaking goal line and punch it in to get more points. But
I digress. But I understand why, because we haven't talked about that.
Cortland Sutton did pretty damn well this game.
Yeah. No, he definitely had to show up.
He was the only receiving person that caught more than 2 balls. He had 7 for 122. All right, Cortland, coming out. I will say that one interception, one negative here for you, Kevin. Totally on Sutton, not on Russell Wilson.
Yes.
That dropped interception. Well, it was the weirdest play. Not the weirdest. There's been plenty of weird plays. But it was an odd play. It was not Russell's fault. It was just an awkward play. Anyways, 7 catches, 122. He looked awesome. Once Judy went out, it seemed very clearly like he was the number one read, and it showed. I just wish some other guys were going to show up as well with the opportunity. But hey, I'll take it. A win's a win, and Sutton balled out.
They did.
And John, also positive, our 2 injuries that we had in this game, Jerry Jeudy and Pat Surtain, both are day-to-day and hopefully not very serious. So that's a positive that came out of this, even though at the time we were like, shit.
Yeah, very big news today that's just day-to-day. I think everyone, including the coaching staff, was expecting this to be more serious. You have Surtain, who probably top 2 to 3 on our defense of the best players. And maybe we lose him for one game this week, but hopefully he's back by then. And then obviously Judy, I'll be honest, it felt like this game plan today was kind of revolving around Judy. And when he went out, it just did not seem like there was any other option except Sutton. Sorry. So that seemed very clear to me anyways. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on Judy going out of the game.
Well, look, he's part of your threat, and you didn't have Hamler either. So you didn't have that deep threat to open up over the top. And then at that point, you are really relying on your 2 top wide receivers to make plays and make other openings for other players. You lose Judy. Yeah, you have your number 1 in Sutton, but now you don't have your 2 and 3, and that hurts. That definitely hurts. So look, Sutton did step up and did make some plays. And look, that interception, that was just good defense. That was just a good defense play. The guy was right there and just a little stronger. Yep. But let's see, so I'm not expecting to have Judy back this week or Sutton back this week. Just obviously coach speak from Surtain, sorry. Obviously coach speak. You know, he was like, they're day to day. We'll see if they're there, you know, on Sunday. It's like, I'm not expecting that, right? Billy Turner, maybe. I'm more optimistic about him. Yeah. And I'm more optimistic. Definitely sounds like Hamler's going to be back in as well. So, you know, okay.
And Josie Jewell, I think, was very close to playing this game too.
Wait. Richie Rich says Hamler pulled his hamstring again. What?
No, Hamler's string.
I think Hamler pulled his Might have had a drink or two before the show. Anyway, Hamler string. Yes. I need to read the whole thing. Got it. Richie, you're too funny. We got to have you on the show here soon, man. Got to have you on the show.
Yeah. But seriously, like, to your point, like, once Judy was out, like, it was Sutton and then guys from the practice squad, like, right? Tyree Cleveland, not on the practice squad, but, like, we weren't throwing the ball to him in the first game or this game, really. And then Hinton came in and played. And, you know, he actually made one really big play for us that was a necessary play. But it was all of a sudden after Judy went out. Sorry. Next question.
Yes. After all the crap you give me tonight, yes. You're just so energetic. You have to hit your microphone. I love it.
And I do it again.
Richie, we're almost done tonight, so we'll get you in next week's post game. Let's plan on that. We'll talk later.
What about defense, Kevin? You want to talk about?
So before we go to defense and can kind of start wrapping things up a little bit, I do want to make sure we get all the other announcements out of the way. So, guys, remember that we have a ton of other content here at Orange Weekly, not just this post game podcast, but we have the pre-game podcast as well. Usually comes out on Fridays, so make sure you check that out. We also have a ton of other live content for you guys. Monday nights, Orange Weekly After Dark. Usually after the Monday night game, right around 9 p.m. is when we start that up. Tuesday night, our flagship show, Bourbon Broncos No BS, 7 p.m. at Mountain Time. Every Tuesday night, you can count on us being there for sure. We also have the Tailgate Talk about 1 hour before our kickoff. You can check us out there. And our Halftime Hash Show, we are the original live halftime show. So make sure as soon as halftime starts, bring up your phone because you're already going to do that anyway. That's what everybody does once halftime starts because nobody listens to the TV announcers. Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. And go to Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and we'll be live. So you can share your thoughts on the first half of the game with whoever's running the halftime show. Also, David is starting up his new article called, what was it? The view from section 506. I couldn't think of the first part there. View from section 506. So you guys can check out David's take on the latest game, and all that can be found at our website, BroncosOrangeWeekly.com. Okay.
Good work.
Richie's just making me laugh over here. But yeah, let's go with defense. And Rob, I'll have you go start with that, man.
So the defense actually played pretty dang well. Randy Gregory had almost 2 really good sacks. One was actually a strip sack, which unfortunately we didn't recover the fumble, but it is what it is. But yeah, our defense is playing lights out. We held the run game pretty well, and they relied on him very, very heavily. Houston did. They relied on that running back, and we held them to pretty minimal yards for the most part. But and especially with Simmons being out, we had our backup in there, and he played phenomenal. So our defense is playing lights out, but we cannot rely on them in every game moving forward to bail us out. But I think our defense looked really good, and I'm really hopeful for that coming up this next game.
Yeah, because you have to remember it's technically a new system on defense too, right? New defense coordinator, and I'm still concerned about the line of scrimmage. I feel like we aren't putting enough pressure on the quarterbacks from the line of scrimmage standpoint. So it's going to be interesting. I think this week will be a bigger test for sure of the first 3 games to see if we can. I think this is going to be our first big test for our defense. So we'll see, but there's no reason to doubt them yet. Let's put it that way. Right, 3 sacks. Draymond Jones showed up. He got 2 of those sacks, so I'm glad to see that. I just want Chubb, man. Where'd Chubb go this game? He was there in the fourth quarter of the last game and just disappeared in this one. Randy Gregory picking up the slack there, but let's see. Against the 49ers, a better team overall. So hopefully we continue this streak of a great defense.
Yeah. No, I liked how they've really rallied and bounced back each game. The whole team kind of coming out to a slow start, but they're able to pull things together. And so here's another positive, just I guess in general, but also on the defense side of the ball. We finally have a coaching staff and a team that's able to make halftime adjustments that work, or they're at least making adjustments, versus in the past, there were none. There are still some questions like, why aren't we using the run game more? Why aren't we using a power formation? We're on the 1 yard line. What is this shotgun crap, right? So there are still some things to adjust, but in terms of how they're approaching the game and what they're seeing from the other team during the game, they make those adjustments. And the second half has been better. I do want to remind everyone, and this is what Cody brought up when last week's show before he played the Seahawks there. Coming from a Seahawks fan, which he is, unfortunately, Russell is just known for coming out and having slow starts. So if we're going to expect that, he's going to go out and have touchdown drives on the first drive every single game, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot more from him in, this second quarter on. So just get, used to that idea. But defense, I think, can definitely clean it up. And John's like, no, I'm not going to get used to the idea. Just get used to it, dude. Just get used to it, But look, they're doing well. Game 2, I'm not panicked. Some people are. I'm not there yet. We're 1-1. The Raiders are 0-2. You want to talk about a team that has maybe some concerns with coaching?
Don't say his name. Don't say his name.
I
God
just did it.
damn
I just did it. Okay. They had, what was their lead, 20-7 or something, and they blew it, right? Like, now if we were in that situation, I would be saying, hey, this really sucks. Like, this is not the way this was supposed to be going at all. We're 1-1. We haven't blown any big leads. We've improved, at least in some ways, each game. So, yeah, and we don't have McDaniels. Like, fuck the Raiders.
Fuck the Raiders. You have not blown big leads, so we have that against the Raiders. We haven't had a big lead, but
you shush. I know that.
You know what? Yeah,
I know.
The Raiders found a way to screw it up, which is great. And guess what? We're 1-1. The Raiders are 0-2. So sucks to suck.
Let's see. D-Rock says, is Russ totally anti-taking the ball and run himself? No, but I think he's also getting more used to playing in the pocket. And he's just at that age.
Russ plays, right? Like, we don't have any.
I don't think they have any.
We're not going to do the 49ers with Trey Lance. We're not going to do,
no.
Any rushing yards he's getting is truly the play broke down and he's just rushing to get yards instead of, like, it's not a designed run play. For better or worse, I don't know if that's the right answer, but he's just not.
No, I think he's not of the age anymore where he can run for 20, 30 plus yards. Like, if he's running, like, let's just get the first down, or get positive yardage in general. Yeah. So I don't think he's anti that. We just got to remember that he's a little older now. Got to be more conscious about injuries and getting hurt and getting hit, and go from there.
Yeah,
so
we need him to be healthy every game.
Yeah. Kat says, I wonder if they played bad on purpose to give them a chance to shock and awe. That could have. Probably not, but that's one strategy. If it is, who knows what strategy they have? It's
a great strategy.
Question the current strategy they're using.
The one watching these games. Kevin, real quick, Montreal, Washington.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Better.
I feel like there are positives in every single aspect of our game on special teams. Granted, he has to be on the field in a punt return to actually make the play. Right. But when he did, he had quite a few good punt returns. Actually, I have it right here. 14.8 on average per punt return on 4 of those. And so, hey, I like where our return game is at. And it's been a while since I could say that.
Yeah. No, I think the first game, nerves. Look, it's the first NFL real game. Yeah, you could say, well, he was in the preseason. Yeah, but it doesn't count then, right? Because you could just tell he got hit really hard on that first return. And then you could tell there's just a little hesitation in that first game. And that's what killed him on each one of those return attempts. This game, you really didn't see that. You could tell there was more confidence there. And I'm hoping he went back to his preseason tape, watched that and said, what was I doing really well? I'm going to do that again. And this is a guy that once he gets in his groove in some more experience, man, watch out. We're going to get some return touchdowns.
Because he also had a run that was called back. That was a big one.
It was.
I think that was a screen, actually. And then he had another run that was another big one. So this guy's elusive. So he's a little bit of a playmaker for us, and I'm loving to see it, especially considering he's our returner. So I'm really liking that. He's like the one rookie I can think of that we're really counting on right now. All the other ones, they're kind of buried on our depth chart. We didn't necessarily draft for need this year. So nice to see one rookie that is balling out at the position of need.
Yeah. Richie says, wait until he gets another year with better depth and better blocking. So, Rob, what do you think, man?
Well, the one thing that I love about our special teams is that our coach is not Tom McMahon anymore.
Okay. I forgot his name until you just.
I will remember his name until the day that I die.
What is it with us and coaches that have a last name that starts with Mick? McMahon, McDaniels. Just no more.
It's the Irish curse. I don't know.
Yeah, Irish curse. No more coaching staff with Mick something.
But to John's point and your point, Kevin, the special teams have looked really good, with the exception of the snafu of not having the freaking returner on the field. But Montreal Washington as a punt returner is he has that burst and that explosiveness. He just to I don't even want to say it because I know Richie Rich is watching. But as soon as he has an opening, he puts his foot in the ground and goes north and south and gets up the field. But to Richie's point, once he has some better blocking and we kind of get all the rust and the nerves out of the way, I think our special teams is going to be something to be reckoned with. I still miss Holiday wearing number 11, that short little Mighty Mouse runner of him. But I think our special teams look great.
Yeah. Richie wants us to know that he is Irish. I would say you're Canadian and nobody cares. I'm just kidding. I love you, bro. I'm just kidding.
Richie, I don't
even say that until he threatened us. He goes, "I will find you." Okay, bring it. Let's do it. I'll buy you a beer.
Okay, things got real.
Anyway. Hey, make sure for those of you who are watching live that you have subscribed to us. Please, helps us out, helps feed pay the bills and feed John. He had a kid a little bit ago, and so now he needs that extra little bit to help. Feed the kid. So, is that true, John? Did I say that right?
You said things.
I said things.
Kevin, you're the one with the big deck.
That's true. Actually, right now I have none. I don't have a deck right now. So
Kevin has no deck, everybody.
That might get edited out. We will see. Maybe not. Anyway, guys, let's do some final thoughts as we close out. The win. It was a win, but we're gonna hopefully.
And honestly, I feel like we stayed
ready for next week.
I feel like we stayed pretty positive today, guys. I think there was a lot of subjects that we could have really gone down some rabbit holes on negativity. So I'm proud of us, I'm really proud of us. But no, all in all, though, in all seriousness, I think the problems we're seeing, and it's all one facet of the game, and it's offense in these first two games. But it's all correctable mistakes, and it's, getting the plays in on time, giving the offense enough time to digest the plays, and then going out and executing them. It's things like that. It's decision-making on fourth down. Are we going for it? Are we kicking it? Are we going to take a delay game? Let's avoid that one. It's things that can be cleaned up, and I think they can be cleaned up pretty quickly. Otherwise, we're going to be continuing to look like a JV offense out there, which is not good. That's not what we want to see. Instead of like flashes of like one drive here or there where we actually look competent. It's all correctable, and I think it's going to start sooner rather than later. And hopefully it starts against San Francisco this week. We'll be going up against Jimmy G. So his first start of the season, I don't think that's going to be an advantage for us because it's Jimmy. Like, he is a veteran. It's not like it was Jimmy G and now Trey Lance is going out there in his, third year? I don't know, second or third year where, he's still learning the NFL. That's not going to be an advantage for us. Honestly, they might be a better team with Jimmy G this year, anyways. So let's not expect a weaker team not having their quarterback out there. So biggest opponent we're going to face so far this year, and this is the first honest test, even though we already lost as one. But anyways, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Robert,
I I sound like a broken record, but I agree. John hit everything on the head. It's all correctable mistakes. Hopefully Hackett will, make a decision, faster. Because if we have to hear the boos at home and we have to hear the crowd yelling the countdown for the game clock, I'm probably going to have an aneurysm and blow my lid because it's just absolutely unacceptable. But looking forward, yes, the 49ers, I think, are not going to be a lesser team with Jimmy G, like John said. However, I don't think Kittle is going to be playing this game. I believe he's still out for the 49ers.
He's been game time decision both games, so this could be the one that he starts. We'll see.
Well, hopefully,
Hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the case. I know it's as bad as that sounds, but it's going to be a real test of our offense if we can keep up with them. But as long as our defense keeps playing lights out like they have been, I think we'll be okay. But yeah, it's going to be do or die, and hopefully Hackett, gets it figured out and shakes it off and improves.
No, totally agree. There's no reason to panic at this point. Obviously not what we wanted to see, but I'm not surprised at the same time. It's not as bad as it could be.
We're not the Raiders.
We're not the
Bengals.
Well,
the Super Bowl
doesn't matter.
Bengals.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. At least you're not a Raider fan.
That's true. Anytime, any season.
It doesn't matter how bad of a day you're having. You could just be like, at least I'm not a Raiders fan, and that should cheer you up.
Yeah.
So
that's the moral.
We have Cat's right. We have time to fix it. It's week 2. We're 1-1. Obviously, losing game 1 hurt, but I think once these guys get in their groove, we'll be okay. And again, don't evaluate this team and what they're capable of until November. I think that's when you're really going to be able to look at this team and say, forget everything that happened in September, October. What this team is doing now is what we can expect as a baseline moving forward.
Assuming we're not 1-7. Right?
Why would you even say that? How would you put that into the
late?
And how would we get to be 1-7? That would be absolutely horrible.
I'm just
that's
saying.
so sad.
November seems late to say that, but
but you got to evaluate how they look and how they're playing.
I'll give you mid-October.
If we're 1-7, we are not playing well, and the valuation is very bad. Okay, but I'm hoping that by that point we're 6-2 or something.
Look, I'd like to finish on a strong note here, Kevin. All right,
that's what I'm trying to do, and you're bringing me down.
Stop talking about we're not going to get together until November. We're going to get together this week against San Francisco at home. There's going to be no in the stadium. Yes. There's going to be no countdowns in the stadium.
I agree with that.
All right.
Yep.
We're going to have our punt return out there on a punt return.
Sure. No. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. These are things that we could very easily fix by this week. Right. That's not likely. There's still going to be a lot of mistakes. As long as there's some improvement, we're okay. So yes, we will be okay.
We will be okay. We will all make it through this, guys.
John has money on us going 1-7, don't you?
No. No, I certainly would never take a bet like that because that.
Yeah, we'd fire you from Orange Weekly. So anyway, yeah, there you go. Ready, guys? Normally we, you know how we end this, but let's end how we normally do with a countdown. First.
Can we start from 35?
No. No, we're not going to do that. Okay. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you've been tuning in on our YouTube channel, again, make sure you subscribe as well. If you don't hit that subscribe button, you are not a Broncos fan, clearly. That's what that means. It's a test. We are testing you right now.
Good point.
But cool, guys. Hey, take care. We'll see you later on the other shows, and we'll get ready for San Francisco up next. But we'll end our show, as we always do, on a very strong
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.